WOON, Woonsocket.
Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
Let's do that. It's Coffee Ann here on ON Radio, Friday morning, August the 8th. Thanks for joining us on this fine August morning before the real heat comes next week. So yay for that. That's Dave Richards over there. Hi, Dave.
Hi there. It's also Blue Day.
It is Blue Day here on
All the
Coffee Ann.
panelists came in and we say that really fast. So, Melissa, if you're not wearing blue today, go back
Get
home
some
and
blue.
change.
Sky blue, preferably.
Well, I know. I have the darker blue on. I don't know why. I didn't see the happy gay
memo.
blue
Yeah.
in the memo. And
Phil Gould is here.
It's officially Lance Paspilko's birthday.
Oh, fantastic. At Interstate Seal Coat.
On Coffee Ann.
All right.
Going to make fun of him today.
Phil Gould, Town Administrator from Lincoln, is here. Hi, Phil.
Hey.
Morning.
Glad that you're here with us. And the first segment sponsor of the Coffee Ann program, oh, that's right. Melissa Murray will be here as well. First segment
thank
sponsor
you very much
is...
for saying that. I mean, she'd turn around and go
That's right.
back home if you didn't say that.
First segment sponsor is the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce. What do you see in your inbox, Dave, from the chamber?
Or otherwise. We have in the inbox here from the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce the list. Next week is the 13th. We have the 13th is on a Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's the networking pop-up in the next thing that's going on with the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce. They're getting together from 4:30 to 6:30 during your show, as a matter of fact, Joe.
No, super.
At the Hunkel Mexican Grill in Cumberland. As a matter of fact, they'll be going till 6:30, so if you wanted to stop by on your way home, Joe, after your show is over. That's a networking pop-up sponsored by Coastal One Credit Union. Have another networking pop-up coming up in September, by the way, on the 9th, and that'll be at the Our Spot Bar and Grill in Pawtucket, sponsored by DePreet Engineering. And, of course, the executive golf outings coming up in September, Kirkbrake Country Club in Lincoln. Things like that are just a wonderful fringe benefit of being a chamber member. And I'll tell you this too, you might say to yourself, see, I admire commercials that are cleverly done. It's my job, it's my business, and I mean, this, like in every art, there is the pedestrian, and then there's the ones that really shine, the ones that stand out and like that. And if you remember the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce, you got a commercial from Milford Federal Savings and Loan, who is a member of our Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce. And I don't know, we probably can't get this on the TV very easily. We could put it over there. And then we have to worry about the commercial aspects. But anyway, there is a picture here. I'll just describe it to you. Underneath shady palm trees, a beautiful azure bleu ocean, the brown sand. Phil can see it on my email over here. And two people in lawn chairs with their hands behind their necks, just sitting back. It looks so relaxing, and it puts you in mind of vacation time. And I'll tell you, that's a well-done ad right there. When you just take an instant look at it and you say to yourself, I want to look at that some more. Very nicely done. All right, all part of the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce, 334-1000. Call them after 9 o'clock this morning when they open for business.
All right, before we get to things going on in the town of Lincoln, just quick little public service announcement. Today's one of those days, one of those perfect storm days. In case you will be driving later on this afternoon, especially along 495, there's a football game, and there's a concert in Mansfield. The state police have already put out the alert. 495 is going to be a wreck.
Yeah.
So,
and hopefully it doesn't have any on it.
Right.
But
we're looking at standstill stuff for a while. So,
and now
either get there before or go much later.
The Patriots season game, nobody goes to those, right?
Oh, yes, they do.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, they will now because of the revealing of the
You know who goes? people that cannot get tickets
Yeah.
to the real games.
Yeah, they
and
go
then
to the
you
preseason.
then you have all your season ticket holders who don't want to go to this game, who will sell you their tickets because it's the only game you can go to. So yes, it'll be
But it's
crowded.
not a real NFL
no,
game.
but there'll be
It's just a
60,000.
scrimmage type
But there'll be
practice type thing,
60,000
yeah.
people there. That's what.
How
That's
many?
what it meant. 60,000.
Oh boy.
Almost a sellout.
But they are revealing the Tom Brady statue tonight. Which
That'll bring in more people.
I think people might go to that just because
Just for
they'll be
that.
there when that happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, just something to be aware of. There's football in Foxborough. There's a country artist at Xfinity, which is supposed to be a sellout as well. So it'll be busy on 495. All right. Doesn't affect Lincoln at all. does it?
Glad
No,
I'm in
no.
Woonsocket tonight at the 11th concert.
That's right. So the crowds won't be as crazy right down
There
there.
you go.
Melissa Murray's joined us. Hey, Melissa.
Good morning.
Blue pansies in her dress. So
good-
she got
so
the
there
blue.
you go.
I got the blue.
All
I got
right.
the blue memo.
Excellent. All right, right off the bat, comments and questions for Phil Gould. Things are going on in Lincoln. Give us a call, 766-1240. Right off the bat, Phil, you're quoted in this week's Valley Breeze. It's all about the RIPTA proposed cuts and eliminations and rerouting, but they want to cut 3 routes out of Lincoln.
3 major routes, yes.
Wow, 73, 75, and 59X, which actually comes through North Smithfield, too.
Yeah.
Wow. Not good, right?
And starts in
No,
Woonsocket.
Yeah.
Very concerning because some of them, those runs go to some of our major businesses. CCRI's on that route as well. And,
Yeah.
It's a community college. Some people don't have transportation, don't have cars, and we're trying to promote education, right? So,
Yeah.
how
Why
are we
would you
supposed to get
stop
there?
that? Yeah.
Well, we're trying to promote public transit too, and then all this stuff is going
we
on at the
cut
same
it?
time. Yeah. Did you notice that Attorney General Nerona reminded the legislators that, hey, you guys aren't doing much to achieve this goal that you passed and is now law regarding fewer cars on the road, less emissions, and all the rest of this sort of stuff like that. And by the way, you short-sheeted RIPTA and they're cutting out buses. This is going the wrong way.
It wasn't the legislators that shortchanged RIPTA, actually, but
All right.
we actually added 15
Well,
million additional dollars
The
to.
Attorney General's comment was to the legislature.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why because
Because he wants to be governor. He doesn't want to have any friends over there.
Have you, Phil, have you
Right.
talked to anybody at RIPTA?
I did. I will actually send. So they're accepting public comment. They're holding a few public comment sessions. I
Yep.
actually wrote a letter on behalf of myself in the town of Lincoln to the for as far as public comment to get administered into the briefs because I've got a lot of concerns. One of them, which is, that Lonsdale Avenue trip that goes up to Lincoln Mall. We made a hard push for affordable housing. There is a development being built right now that's on that route.
Yeah.
And sometimes with affordable housing goes access to public transit, and now they're just cutting it. And
Absolutely, yeah.
one of the things I struggle with is, they talk about we have to. I understand they have to make cuts, and they're talking about budgets, but they talk about the ridership. I have no idea. Nowhere have I seen in public what they're saying ridership numbers are down. What is ridership numbers, and who's going on the bus? And does it matter as long as one person has access to public transportation along that route?
It's a service. It's a service,
It is
right?
100%.
But let's. There's a couple of things to say, and this doesn't necessarily slam RIPTA. RIPTA's in a tough situation when it comes to trying to meet a budget. The way it was explained to us years ago, because this always comes up, this is just like high school sports. School departments having budget problems, just let's eliminate high school sports. We don't have time for them. We don't have money for them. And, of course, everybody gets
It's an
all
uproar.
upset.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, somebody finds some money. Or in the case of North Smithfield, they start their own little group to raise money for the sports. I always admired that about North Smithfield. But the deal is, so RIPTA's playing the game the way they got to play the game to get enough people ticked off about the fact that they don't have enough money. But years ago, we said, just use smaller buses. They said, you have no idea how we had to work with the union to get smaller buses. We can't go to small buses because they don't get paid as much. They don't need the same credentials. And it won't solve any problems except maybe take a little less gas or whatever fuel they're using, CNG or diesel. The fact is that the union doesn't want to backslide what union does. And if we go to smaller vehicles because we need smaller vehicles, you can't do it. There'll be grievances. You'll lose your labor.
Wasn't there argue a few months ago that they couldn't get drivers? I thought for a while.
Yes.
Well,
All right.
right, but you can't go back and rewrite contracts from 20 years ago either. So that's and nobody wants to backslide on these contracts.
Well, my point on that though is, if you get smaller vehicles, maybe you can hire drivers that don't have the larger CDLs or whatever needed for larger buses.
And then the union will grieve you, and you'll have problems with your union drivers. Not as easy as it looked was the response I got back when I asked one of the about 4 executive directors of RIPTA years ago on the air. He says, not as easy as it looks. He says, that's totally logical, but you're dealing with quasi-government agency here. It's not logical, and logic doesn't work.
Well, all right, and Dave had the story this morning that the RIPTA was supposed to sign off on the elimination routes yesterday. They didn't do it because they got a letter from Dan McKee, who basically said, why don't you go back and look about raising the fares? So I'm like, that's what's going to happen. It's not going to be $4 round trip. It's going to be 10. What? That's just an idea. That's just a theory.
I don't feel like raising the fares is going to raise that kind of revenue that they need, but they just...
well, only because when you raise fares, ridership goes down further.
Right.
But will it go down as low as it's going to go with the cuts? Because, you just can't get more people to ride buses because you have fewer buses.
Well, they did an efficiency study. They were supposed to have done it on March 1st. This was per request of the legislature. They didn't have it done by March 1st, but they did roll it out coincidentally, like right after the or during the public hearings. And so the efficiency study, there was one done now. There was one done in 2017. There was one done maybe like 4 years before that. And there was a whole study commission. And we already knew what the results were going to be. Them cutting routes. There's no efficient. They're running as efficiently as they can. They need to cut routes to, to make up their revenue. But yeah, the board met yesterday and they tabled the motion. They put it off.
This is a classic example.
Routes, right?
I mean, I don't get more listeners by running the radio station fewer hours.
Right.
You don't get more listeners. If you need more listeners, you don't get them by turning off the transmitter.
Yeah. And if we had more routes and we had, we had a robust transit system, more people would use it.
All right. Well, we'll see where it goes, and hopefully, and we mentioned to Phil afterwards, but before we went on the air, why not make Lincoln Mall a small hub for RIPTA, and just cover northern Rhode Island instead of going all the way to Providence and all the way back. But I'm sure there's unions to deal with that and things like that. So, all right, we'll see where that goes. Dave mentioned it earlier, Phil. That something's going on at Kirkbrae with the Chamber of Commerce. How are things at Kirkbrae? Everything good? They had that fire a few years ago, and they bounced back pretty well, didn't they?
They bounced back very well. They're hosting a lot of golf tournaments, certainly with all their weddings and the activities. But yeah, the place looks great. They recovered quite nicely. I actually, right after the fire, I met with their board of governors over there, and we talked about the process. But yeah, they obviously they had to get insurance involved and replace a lot of rugs and do some work inside. But it's beautiful. It's really nice. You wouldn't know that there was a fire there.
Oh, fantastic. We had a note called in, 766-1240. Just talked about, the backups that you might see on 495 a little later tonight because of the concert in the football game. But to add to that, if you're going up 295 north, heading to 95, 294th has the lane restrictions too at Diamond Hill Road. So there's more backups might be happening. So absolutely right. All right, we're going to take a break here in the Coffee and program, but more coming your way right here on the Coffee and program.
ON 1240. When it comes to emergency service for plumbing and heating, you can't beat C.J. Nemus, 37 Corey Street in Woonsocket. C.J. Nemus offers over 15 years of experience and is licensed in both Rhode Island and Massachusetts. C.J. Nemus offers complete heating system service, plumbing, water heaters, plus drain and sewer cleaning. Remember that senior citizens receive a 10% discount. So give Charlie a call today at C.J. Nemus, 769-4776. They're registered with the Better Business Bureau. They're a master plumber with quality service. It's the only way and the best way. With C.J. Nemus, call today, 769-4776 for C.J. Nemus.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON Radio.
It is Coffee and here on ON, AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards, Melissa Murray, Phil Gould from the Town of Lincoln, Town Administrator. And before we get to Meg Rigo, who's on the phone, Phil, you saw a good thing happen with a resident over by Lincoln Mall?
Yes.
What took place?
So, and actually, the reason I brought this to you, because it wasn't actually one of my residents, it's a Woonsocket resident, but I was going to the gym this past Saturday, and the Lawrence at the mall, which is a pretty long shot of maybe 100 yards and a very steep incline, there was a woman in a wheelchair who was backing herself up the hill. Obviously struggling to get up, very dangerous if she lost control and rolled right down and back into 116. So I pulled around the corner, got out of my car, and I was going to go try and help her. And I see a young man who had jumped down there, got behind her, and started pushing up the hill. He looks a little younger than he is. He's 25 years old. His name's Dan Gould. He lives in...
No relation, right?
No relation.
Oh, okay.
Lives in Woonsocket, but I was just so impressed that a lot of people actually drove by this person. Not a lot of people stopped to help. But this young man, it said something about the humanity, people stepping up, doing good deeds. Again, he wasn't doing it for credit, he wasn't doing it for accolades. He was a little impressed with it.
He got caught doing it.
He got caught doing a good deed, but it was
yeah.
a super impressive young man. I shared the story on my Facebook page, and the comments that followed, people that do know him, speak very highly. He's a Mount St. Charles grad, I guess a heck of a volleyball player back in the day. He's a twin, by the way. And just so impressed. Found out that the day he did that was actually his birthday. And later that day, he took his grandmother and his twin to go play pickleball. So,
Nice.
man in the right direction. That says something a lot about his generation, and I was very, very impressed.
Say his name again.
Dan Gould.
Dan Gould.
And he's a resident with Woonsocket, so you called Mayor Beauchamp.
I sent him the message, and I spoke to him in person, and on the phone I said, you need to reach out to this young man. And he actually had met the young man at the opening of one of your new gyms here over the last 6 months.
Okay.
And when I showed him the picture, he goes, I know exactly who that
he
is. So,
Wow.
yeah, super.
That's a great story.
Makes you feel good.
It does.
Yeah.
All right, joining us on the phone is Meg Rigo from the
Speaking
11 Amp
feeling-
Woonsocket
speaking of feeling
Music
good.
Series. It's Meg Rigo. Hi, Meg.
Hello. Oh my gosh, I love starting my day with some good news. That was great. Thank you for sharing.
All right, the Megster's here. Meg, we've got picture-perfect weather for tonight's Week 8 of Levitt, Consuelo's Revenge, and Sweet Lizzie Project. Tell us about them.
What a dream. Well, they're going to be really happy to be performing on the beautiful stage in picture perfect weather, that's for certain. Consuelo's Revenge is a local Rhode Island act. They've got a couple of Motif Awards underneath their belt. They call themselves like folky with a gothic edge, a 60s band. They've performed in the park before. And I remember vividly sitting in the park in front of the old stage and seeing all these new people in the park and being like, hey, how'd you hear about this? And there were just so many people that came out because Consuelo's Revenge were their favorite Rhode Island band.
Wow.
So
Nice.
we got to meet new friends, and hopefully those folks are coming back again tonight. And then our headliner, Sweet Lizzie Project, such a cool act. They started performing, or they started recording music in Havana, in Cuba. The lead singer is actually like a biochemist. She's a crazy scientist that is very interested. I'm calling her a crazy scientist because I know nothing about science or biology and chemistry and all of those things. But Lizzie does. That's what she studied in college. And while she was in college, she started recording music and was doing such a good job that she ended up meeting her producer now, who's the same producer as the Mavericks, who are, a U.S. band.
Wow.
One of Joe's favorite bands.
Yeah.
Yeah, how cool, right? And so she caught their attention. He helped them move to Nashville, and they've been living here for over 5 years now. They've been performing albums. A lot of them have some Cuban influences. So our first album was actually called Pirate Radio. That's how, if you were living in Cuba, you would hear, the Beatles and Elvis and any music that you wanted to hear in Cuba. And so she has those influences, but she said she's always been inspired by English speakers. So the majority of her music is in English. It's a rock band that have kind of like a harder edge to them. So that's great.
So a lot of high energy for tonight.
Such high energy, yes.
Yeah.
You're kind of flipping gears from last week. We had Chris Pierce, incredible vocalist, a different type of energy. Tonight we're going to have some high dancing energy in the park.
Oh, very cool. What do you got for food trucks tonight?
Sure thing. We've got Nessa Snack Shack returning this evening. Nessa has been a big fave, and she's also been super reliable. A lot of our folks have had truck issues this year, and Nessa's always shown up. And then we've got a bunch of desserts. We have Dell's Lemonade Cookie Chow, which is a new truck for us. I do not know what they mean, but hopefully it's for humans and not for pets. Only because I want to try it. All things tropical. They do smoothie and dipped fruit. And then Ryan Bates, who she's been back week after week with those incredible cookies, and I think she's like really developing a following at this point.
Well, fantastic. And, of course, the on-site bar will be there, kids' activities, the giant Jenga. I hope the giant Jenga board is back, right?
Me too. We're still hunting for it. It'll show up someday.
All right, cool.
There you go. All right. And by the way, Meg, do you know who operates the biggest pirate radio station in Havana?
Tell me everything. Is it you, Dave?
Nope.
No.
The United States Voice of America, the United States government. It's called Radio Marti. And it broadcasts from the Florida Peninsula, 90 miles across, with millions of watts, and just floods the radio dial.
In Cuba.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And if anybody ever did that to our country, we would say, geez, just like Mexico did back in the 60s with rock and roll.
All right, 11 a.m. tonight at River Island Art Park, 6 to 9 p.m. If you can't make it down, we have it for you right here on ON Radio. Meg, thanks for calling in, and have a great time tonight with the Sweet Lizzie Project.
Thank you so much. Excited to see everyone out in the park. Have a great day.
Okay,
Bye,
take care.
Meg.
Bye,
Meg,
Meg.
we go.
All righty. All right, Phil. The town is still searching for a town engineer. What's the story there?
Because you'll never get to Albion without your engineer.
The struggle is real. So my previous engineer, I promoted to DPW director, and Leslie Quish, who is actually been doing double duty for the last 6 months, and she's doing an awesome job as our DPW director. A lot of positive things with what she's doing in her leadership. But we still have to fill that position. But as with all municipalities, there's some key positions that are very difficult to fill. We don't really have a good feeder program to finance directors, planners, engineers. So we're still searching, trying to find somebody. At some point, we might actually have to contract some services out because I can't keep driving her that hard on doing double duty.
Right,
So.
yeah.
But we're still looking and taking applications. They can go online, go to our website, and if anybody's interested. Again, engineer is something that requires certifications and training.
Yeah, you
So-
just can't take anybody off the street.
I can't train them up. They got to be trained.
They
in
got to know what they're
advance.
doing right
Yeah.
off the bat. Okay. So is that the situation? Is it just a lack of no applicants coming in?
No, I think there's probably 2 or 3 other cities right now that are
All
all
looking-
our towns looking for
Oh,
engineers
so you're
as
in
well.
competition.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's a
Okay.
bidding war. huh?
Yeah. Okay. Well, best of luck with that.
Thank you.
Okay. There's another story in the breeze today. It's just talking about steep prices on homes in Lincoln.
Yeah, and well, back to I think we talked last time I was out here was the taxes and tax bills, but the last statistical revaluation, residential was up 31%. The struggle is real. House prices are way up. It's because it's a great town to live in. I think a lot of that has to do with the work we do with our schools. People want to move here, raise their kids here, have them educated in Lincoln. But with that, you starts bidding wars. Nothing gets sold at asking price. Everything's a bidding war.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a good problem to have. the problem is people that could sell their houses for top dollar, where are they going to go? And then again, with interest rates being what they are, that's also a challenge. But there's not many houses that stay on the market very long in Lincoln, and the prices are definitely up.
Okay. And there's another story on the front page of the Breeze about this little-known cemetery that's off of 99.
Yeah, we have little pocket cemeteries all over town, and there's a couple groups out there that do a good job trying to help take care, restore, protect these cemeteries. But they're all over the place. It's pretty amazing, and I think it's Ken Postle that leads the charge on that.
How far back do these cemeteries go? Are we going back to the 1600s? Farther back than that?
I think 17s for sure.
Okay.
Late 16s and early 1700s, according to Sophia Barr's story in The Breeze.
Jeez, that's amazing, huh?
At some point, I'll get out and visit some of those cemeteries. It's a little busy in the office right now, but
all right.
Well, the interesting thing about that one, they call it, according to state records, it's called the Man Burial Grounds because it was a big family way back then, MANN, Man Family Burial Grounds. But it's not the guy who was responsible for establishing Manville. He's buried off Manville Hill Road in that cemetery. So I guess he wasn't in the same branch of the family? I don't know.
It might have been a black sheep outcast. I don't know, but I learn something new every day.
There you go.
All right. Earlier this week, we had Scott Gibbs on from North Smithfield, and you must deal with the same kind of situations he has to deal with when we asked him, what phone calls coming into your office, what are they most complaining about? And he says, roads. When can we get this road paved? When we get that road paved? You seeing the same thing in Lincoln?
We are, and unfortunately, it's generally the state roads, and we have a lot of state roads. Not, certainly you have 146, 295, some of the big thoroughfares, but it's some of the smaller roads. And I rode actually the STIP, which we've got Smithfield Avenue in Great Road, which was on the STIP 12 years ago to get done. Now looks like they're putting it back to 2030, potentially 2035.
Melissa's shaking her head, up and down this. And she goes.
So I wrote there was the state improvement. There's a commission who was taking public comment, and myself and the town council wrote a letter because it's long overdue, and I think part of the problem is they start with one project and they start adding projects, and if they don't have the funding for the entire project, it gets put back. And these delays are unacceptable. The council and I are not happy. We're trying to make the push and tell them to get these jobs done. And if you have to cut down the scope, we seriously they've got a Twin River Road project listed on the STIP for down in Smithfield Avenue. Not even close.
Yeah.
So we're frustrated. We're frustrated.
When people call you and say, let's use George Washington Highway as an example, Route 116, do you have to then explain to them, well, that's a state road and it's out of our hands?
And then we feel the frustration with them.
Yeah.
So, for the most time, they get it. Again, sidewalks is one of the other problems too. I mean, it's one thing to have cracks and potholes in the roadway, but you can safely still travel that. I guess might damage your car. But sidewalks on state roads, which that's been I think topic we've talked about here, where I'm trying to get the state to take ownership of it because the state right away, and they should take over the sidewalks. This could be a half-hour topic in itself. If you want to talk about it next week, I get fired up on this.
Okay. Well, we don't have time for you to get fired up right now. But next month is start of school. Everything looking good with the schools. Is there any issues with teachers' contracts or anything like that?
No, we've got 4 major projects at our elementary schools. We're putting in new gyms, STEM classrooms, and we are looking good to get those finished, completed for the start of school. So we're excited.
All right, great. And they'll be finished by the time of school. So
and we're on track and on budget. Yes,
right, that's always important. All right, Phil Gould, town administrator from Lincoln. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Can I just throw a quick prop out? Saturday we have a farmers market up at Chase Farm.
Right. Okay.
Which that's a regular series throughout the summer, and August 30th is our last concert at Chase Farm. It's with those guys. It's going to be a great time.
That's their name?
The band's those guys. Actually, a pretty big following. And we got the food trucks. It's going to be a great time. And if you want to come see the town administrator get up on stage and sing Country Roads, that's your chance.
Oh, boy.
Someone should take video of that.
There's video out there. I did it last week with Steve Anthony. So.
All right,
there
great.
You go.
All right, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Time for a
Thanks,
look at the forecast being brought to you by Compassion International.
Beautiful sunny skies today with a high of 81 degrees and a calm wind. Tonight, mostly clear skies, overnight low of 53. Saturday, sunny and 83. Sunday, sunny and 87. Monday, sunny and hot with a high of 90. Tuesday, sunny and hot and 92. Wednesday, mostly sunny and hot with a high of 93. And next Thursday, mostly sunny and hot again with a high near 92 degrees.
Outside the Navigate Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, bright sunny skies, 63 degrees. Imagine a child in extreme poverty waiting over a year to be sponsored. End their wait today. Become a compassion sponsor. Text radio to 83393. People choose cremation over a casket burial for any number of reasons. Cultural or religious tradition, personalization, simplicity, cost, and time are just some of the reasons. But only you can decide if it's the right decision for you or your loved one. Annette at the Beraducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center can answer your questions about the cremation process to see if it's the right decision for you. Beraducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center, Spring Street, Woonsocket. Visit ProvidenceCremation.com.
In a world where good food, friendly faces, and unforgettable memories collide, there's one place that stands out from the rest. Gators Pub is proudly celebrating 35 years of excellence in North Smithfield. Join us at Gators Pub, where every visit feels like coming home. Our secret to success? It's simple. Our super friendly staff and mouth-watering dishes prepared fresh daily by our talented chefs. Sink your teeth into our delectable lunch specials from Monday through Thursday and savor complimentary soup to warm your soul. Enjoy the game day excitement with multiple TVs showing the Boston Red Sox while indulging in classic appetizers like our famous potato skins and pita chips. Looking for a lively atmosphere to watch volleyball games? Look no further. Pair it with our juicy burgers or the latest cocktail creations to elevate your experience. Gators Pub, your ultimate destination for good times and great food. Come and celebrate with us at Gators Pub on Route 102, just a mile before Wright's Chicken Farm. Make every moment memorable at Gators Pub, where good friends and great flavors meet. Remember, there are no strangers at Gators Pub, just good friends you haven't met yet.
Since its founding, the Valley Breeze has been the trusted source for local news in the Blackstone Valley. Our readers and advertisers understand that shining a light on all aspects of our communities and doing it with some of the best local journalism makes these cities and towns better places. We believe that truth should triumph over rumors and misinformation. See valleybreeze.com or any of our 5 editions for more on how you can be part of this local news success story. The Valley Breeze, making our communities stronger by telling their stories.
ON AM and FM.
It is Coffee In on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Melissa Murray, Dave Richards, and this portion of Coffee In is sponsored by the Valley Breeze newspaper. We just heard a recorded ad from the Valley Breeze.
As a matter of fact, you want to do this afterwards?
Yeah, let's do it after.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do
I was going to talk about
on.
what's on the front page. We'll do that a little bit later on for their second message. But also, Richard Lane's not with us this morning.
No,
I noticed the Rooster
today.
is not here.
Could not make it.
And so we just point out that coming up, not this weekend, but on the 23rd, Saturday the 23rd, the So Many Roads group. Road is spelled the usual way, like Rhode Island.
Yeah, that's the usual way.
Right.
Grateful Dead stuff.
At
So
Fairmont
cool.
Post 85, from 7 to 11, they've got entertainment. Tell all your friends. The food will be available. Also for all you hungry cats and kittens out there. And I'm not sure I get that joke. But anyway, the Asian
Are we talking
Cafe,
girls or are we talking real cats and kittens?
also on that same day, Saturday, August, I don't know, because I'm not going to reply to that. Saturday, August 23rd, from 5 to 10, the Asian Cafe returns to Post 85, Asian Cafe Express, operated by 4 Spice Chef during the So Many Roads show. Great food, great music, great fun at 870 River Street. Just a couple of things going on there at the American Legion Post number 85 in Woonsocket, and I'll stop right there.
Okay. I can add to that a little bit, though.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Melissa.
They are having their Country Fest is coming up Saturday, September 13th, which is actually not that far away, sadly. 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., so it's like an all-day thing. There's raffles, drink specials. Don Colt and Company are playing from 1 to 4:30, and then Bulletproof is playing from 7 to 11. They're also going to have a pig roast with all the fixings, which starts at 5, and the food tickets for the pig roast is only $18. There's no cover charge to see the band, so there's going to be stuff going on all day, and if you don't, they'll also have burgers and fries and hot dogs available all day if you're not into the whole pig roast thing. So yeah, that's Country Fest, Saturday, September 13th.
All right. Thanks, Melissa. All right. Now, we haven't heard too much this year, but in past summers, there's always been some issues going on Block Island. Well, the issues have returned.
Oh no, I was going to say we haven't heard anything.
I know. No fighting on the ferry.
Okay,
so that's good.
That's good.
No fighting at the bars. That's good. But
Okay.
crowds on the 4th of July got out of hand, and officials on the Block Island are considering ways to control the rowdy behavior. They say unsupervised underage people partying on beaches disrupt other beach goers, damages property, and causes litter problems. Channel 10 is reporting options are being considered. Include age restriction on unaccompanied underage ferry passengers. Using school buses to detain underage drinkers, and then requiring parents to travel to the island to pick up their kids. How much would that bug the parents? I got to do what? I got to pay to get on the ferry. First of all, you got to make sure you get on the correct ferry.
If you can get on.
Get over there.
Oh, hey, maybe I can't get there till tomorrow, and you got to spend the night in the bus.
Bail the kid out, and then back on the ferry.
Yeah,
That actually might work. But is it legal? Can they do it?
Yeah,
Is it
right.
constitutional? All that
you
kind
can
of
challenge
stuff.
anything.
Well,
I know.
The consumption of alcohol underage is
right.
illegal, so...
Yeah, but if the word gets around amongst the youngsters, oh, yeah, there's a downside to this, then it becomes less popular, and you don't have the same issues anymore.
Oh, well, hopefully the word gets around. So there you go.
Yeah.
I was on Block Island one time. I was 18, friends and I, and we had rented mopeds. You could still rent mopeds back in those days.
That's
you
right.
Didn't have to
it was
wear
a big
helmets.
controversy.
Oh yeah, and I'm there with my with a cooler, handheld cooler that somehow I strapped to the moped, and we were cruising along and we were going around a corner, and one of my guys' friends kind of wiped out because there was a taxi coming around the other way.
Yeah.
And now they didn't hit, but he did slide, and the taxi driver called the police. And when he got there and asked what was going on, he goes, "I don't know why I was called." I said, "Well, we didn't call you. She did." And so he went over and kind of explained to her, nothing really happened, so I shouldn't have been called. But then he saw my cooler, and he said, "Do you mind if I look in there?" I don't care. Open it up. Cokes, a couple of sandwiches. You're on your way. Thanks. Bye.
Doing my job.
all set.
Yes,
Doing my
yes, he
job.
was.
Yeah,
Yes, he was.
yeah.
So everything was on the up
Move
and
along,
up
move
that
along.
day. Well, have fun and don't crash into any more taxis.
Yeah.
All right. So there we go.
You guys are younger than I am. Something happened on this date in history that I remember vividly. Was perhaps one of the biggest things that happened in 1974 that nobody was surprised about.
I wasn't born yet.
Richard Nixon resigned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you see it? On
Actually,
TV?
I did. I had to be 74.
Yeah, 74, this date.
I'm like 7 years old.
August 8th.
Yeah. And the family used to like to vacation in Maine.
Yeah.
And so we had a little 10-inch black and white.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I remember watching it.
Wow.
And him resigning.
That's right.
It's like, wow.
They
was
big
telling me,
news.
oh, it's history. Oh, okay.
Well, it is history, and it was big
Yeah.
news at the time, but absolutely nobody was surprised because this had been coming for a year and a half, a year and a quarter. And the drama had been playing out. You were sick of hearing it, and it was all going on. There's the tapes, and there's the lies, and all the rest of this sort of stuff like that. And then they finally got him where they could take it to the Congress and get a vote to throw him out. And he counted votes. He realized he wasn't going to survive this, so he resigned.
Yeah.
And everybody was crying coward and stuff like that. But what else were you going to do?
That I don't remember. I do remember being at the same place. It was like there was a motel and there were cabins behind there, and then there was a lake that we stayed at, and there was built into into the ground, into the earth, was like a small cave, but it was like a recreational cave. Pool tables in there, ping pong tables were in there, and so I'm now
man cave.
Remember, I'm like you could play records in there too. There was a small record player, and there was a TV in there as well. And I remember being in there watching something, and then a bunch of older guys came in, long hair, real hippie looking, like college age at the time. But to me, they were almost so much older. And they were very, they asked me specifically, asked my permission, because I was watching something. And they didn't just go over and change the channel. They actually asked me, is it okay? They wanted to watch the Watergate hearings. Well, I didn't. I was a kid. But I was like, well, there's 25 of you guys, and you all want to watch it. So yeah, I mean, go ahead. I can go do something else. But I've always remembered that, when you're 7 or 6 or 7, and an adult asks you, is it okay if we do this instead of what you're doing?
Don't happen at home.
No, I was like, wow.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, they respect me. How about that?
Yeah.
I always thought that was so cool.
Respectful people. Let's grow up to be just like them. Maybe with shorter hair.
I said, I didn't want to watch the Watergate hearings, but they were very involved in it at the time.
It was so big,
Those
Joe.
20-year-olds, wow.
It was so big, and they have been going on all during the first part of the year in 1974.
Yeah.
It was so big that they actually had them on TVs in the classrooms.
Wow.
In high school when I was in there.
Because it's history making?
Yeah.
Okay. We mentioned it earlier in this week. Congratulations to the Braintree, Massachusetts Little League. They go to the Little League World Series to represent New England. So best of luck to those guys. It's tax-free weekend in Massachusetts.
Yes,
This is the quietest tax-free weekend I've heard.
Yeah, I really like.
If it
very
hadn't been for the
little-
New Hampshire governor making a statement yesterday that came up on our wire, I wouldn't have known it was this weekend.
Really?
No, because you see what they do is they start in July saying
it's coming.
Equal to the tax.
Oh,
zones.
yeah.
And
Come in and get your
they're trying to
deal
get you
now.
a month's worth of business out of a weekend's event.
Yeah.
Kind of like Christmas. So
which has already started.
Not yet. We'll have to leave it
Yeah,
out.
well, almost.
But it's funny. I was told to do this back in my retail days. I don't know if it was legal or what, but we did it. And it was, the New Hampshire governor says, come up, because it's always tax-free up here.
Yeah.
Well, when I was at my CompUSA days, selling computers, and back at the time, this was a $2,500 purchase.
Yeah.
This was a lot of money. People would they'd make the trek to New Hampshire to save $100 or whatever it was on the sales tax. But sometimes things would go wrong.
Yeah.
And they would bring it back to us, where I was in Braintree,
Closer, right.
thinking they're going to do a straight exchange. And we'd always had to explain to them, this is how we did it. No, it looks like a straight exchange, but it's actually a return, and then we're selling you another item, so you owe me $100 in sales tax.
Right, you do.
And they were just, are you out of your mind? No, I'm not out of my mind. This
Talk
is the
to
way
the governor.
I said, talk to the attorney general.
Yeah, right.
I said, but if you don't want to do this,
Go back to
you travel to New Hampshire to buy it, travel on back, and get and do a straight exchange.
Manchester's on the pike.
Yeah, and
Just go north.
most decided, here's the extra $100 or whatever.
What are you gonna do?
whatever
Would
it
have
was.
paid it right anyway.
Some people said, no, fine, I'll go back to Manchester. Okay,
I thought that
your
was very
choice.
charming the way the governor put it. Of New Hampshire, we invite you to come here and shop year-round.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a sales tax. How they're doing it, I don't know in this day and age, but
Their property
they're famous
taxes
for it up
are
there in New Hampshire.
so high.
My uncle lived in New Hampshire for a little while. He had a viewing tax, Dave.
A viewing tax?
When you opened up his window, he had a beautiful view of Mount Washington.
Okay.
And he was taxed on the view.
That's insane.
Well, that's municipal, isn't it?
No, I think that was a state thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, they get a lot of people on that because Mount Washington kind of sticks out, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, that's
How
right.
many
And if
people
your
have-
window's going to face the mountain and you can see it, especially on clear days, another way they got you. Sister-in-law and brother-in-law lived in New Hampshire. Oh, did you want a light, a street light on the utility pole outside your house? You pay for it.
Yeah.
That's not just we'll just come down and put one up. So they do get you in
do.
other ways.
Somebody
Right.
pays for
Up
it one
there.
way or the other.
That's
yeah.
right.
Interesting thing, you just made me remember somebody who's passed on, a dear friend of mine, been passed on, I guess it's more than 20 years now. And that's Leo Bernier. You remember Leo?
I remember
He had
Leo, yeah.
the Elvis show on
Yeah.
the station, and we were close friends backstage for many, many years. But no word to lie, he actually would go to New Hampshire to buy liquor
Yes.
because they had the no sales tax, and they had the
State liquor store.
the state liquor store, where
So
the
it was
prices
less
were
price.
lower anyway because they weren't really competing. They just, okay, it's this to cover the overhead, and we don't care about a profit because it's the state liquor store. And so, yeah, he would actually drive through Boston all the way
All
up
the way, yeah, it's a
to
2-hour,
New Hampshire,
hour and a half.
get over the line, and
There's the liquor store. You should go if next time if you're ever up that way. Not that you have to buy liquor, but watch the people coming out of the New Hampshire State liquor stores. I mean, cartfuls. of liquor.
Like a
It is-
whole
it is-
year's worth.
It is packed. For us, yes, it would be a
mean-
whole year full of stuff, but they're spending hundreds of dollars.
Oh, I guess if you're having a party or like a
They're
wedding
really
or like something like
they're
that.
really stocking up. It's just
Okay,
bottle after bottle and
right.
case after case.
And if
of
you
this.
save-
if you do that way, then you
Yeah.
do save.
If you save $5 to $7 on a bottle of booze, that's $5 to $7 on a bottle of booze. And if you're buying 20 bottles of booze, that's a lot of dough.
But it's not beer and it's not wine. You got to buy those at other stores. This is the real liquor.
Right, that's right,
at
that's
these
right.
places. All right, we're going to take a break, but I want to mention one time, I like to mention this when these stories come up. There's a recall of Hans Kissel pasta salad sold at Stop and Shop stores in Massachusetts.
Yeah, and I guess the
Could
chance...
be some listeria or
Yeah,
some
that's serious.
undeclared wheat. It is serious.
Yeah.
You're right.
And undeclared wheat, which is, a lot of people have that gluten
Celiac, yep.
allergy. So I put that on because we've got Stop and Shop store right
over the
across
water.
in Bellingham, and it could be, you don't know.
But as I like to say, how many times does Nabisco recall their Oreos because of a problem? It never happens. It's
Right.
always on the good stuff. It's always on the stuff that's healthy for you
Right,
that gets
right, right.
recalled.
All
right.
those chemicals just kill everything bad.
Right. This segment of Coffee and sponsored by the Valley Breeze newspaper, which Dave happens to have in his hands right now.
I do. The Cumberland Lincoln edition right now, front page with a picture and everything. We talked about it with Lincoln Town Administrator Gould and talking about this little-known history of a hidden cemetery off the highway, an engaging story from Sophia Barr. Then below the fold, we have Ethan Shorey talking about changes in Cumberland, improving the town's resilience to heat and flooding. Here in the North Smithfield, Woonsocket, and Blackstone edition of the Valley Breeze, we got a picture of a youngster from Woonsocket, who Riley Hill is her name, looking over one of those great 57 Chevy classic cars. Well, they had a Aiden T. Casey Memorial Car and Motorcycle Show at the Smithfield Elks last Saturday. And a lot of people from the Woonsocket area went, of course, because he was a Woonsocket High School senior, Aiden Casey was, and car enthusiastic, who died in a crash last year. See the picture and the story there. North Smithfield is investing $400,000 in a major sewer repair planning. Corey Plant has the story in the Breeze. You'll also get a chance to see another story on the RIPTA proposed increases in cuts. They have a whole story on what happened there, nearly 50 members showing up. And then Twilight on the Blackstone returns August 23rd. Read all about it here in the Valley Breeze this week. And it does say in the first paragraph that it's to be served atop the Court Street Bridge.
Excellent.
Which is not the Court Street Bridge.
No,
But
it's the Veterans Memorial Bridge.
Right.
That's what people know it as, though.
Yes.
Yes.
But Veterans Memorial is not as easy to say as Court Street. And I have heard the people say it over and over again. I'm kind of happy that Rich isn't sitting in the chair over there because I'm going to repeat what's been repeated to me. And it might offend him, and it's not my purpose to offend. But they say, my God, how many things are we going to name after veterans? And that is the discussion that goes on.
Well,
we still call
yeah.
it Court Street Bridge,
We do.
just like we called Truman Drive the bypass, until it was no longer a bypass anymore.
Everybody called it the bypass. Nobody called it Truman Drive, right?
Great ads in the Valley Breeze, too, from great local businesses you want to do business with. They're great partners in a lot of things that we do here. We hope you'll support the Valley Breeze. Free where you shop every Thursday.
Well, so you deal with people that at the State House from Newport. do the residents down there call it the Pell Bridge or the Newport Bridge?
Newport Bridge.
Okay, there you go.
Yep.
And Pell is easier to say.
Right. So
Now they're calling it Newport Pell, although officially it's just the Claiborne Pell Bridge.
So the first year, or maybe the second year, we did the bridge dinner, and we were saying, have dinner on the Court Street Bridge, because that's what people knew as a marker. So when you say, it's on the Veterans Memorial Bridge, people were like, oh, where is that?
Where is that? Yeah.
And I had a veteran write me a letter very upset that we didn't use the proper name, and I was trying to explain to him, look, it's just a marker. It's no disrespect.
Yeah.
It's just that people, it's just...
It's a landmark.
It's a landmark. It's like, where
you
the
gotta
Almax
use the
used
name
to
the
be,
landmark
right?
grew up
So
with, right.
yeah. No disrespect. It's just that's what people know. So
All right, very good. Okay, more coffee ads coming your way. Stay tuned.
ON 1240. Entertainment at Chance Fine Oriental Dining tonight, Friday, August the 8th. It's Brandon Santini from 8 to 10 at Chance. Santini's profound connection to the blues and American roots music fuels his high-energy blend of traditional blues with a contemporary twist, earning him critical acclaim and awards along the way. $20 in advance, $25 at the door tonight at Chance. And on Saturday, tomorrow night, August 9th, it's Duke Robillard's All-Stars. Need I say more? I will. Featuring the guitar artistry of the great Duke Robillard, a local favorite and an international star. At Chan's Fine Oriental Dining, 267 Main Street in Woonsocket. Oh, they got great food, too. At Chan. Food, too.
Did you know that colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer death in the United States? A colonoscopy is the best way to detect colon cancer, but there are other tests available to detect it early. If you're 45 or older or have a family history of colorectal cancer, talk to your health care provider. Don't die of embarrassment. Get screened for colorectal cancer. Learn more at health.ri.gov/CRC. Sponsored by the Rhode Island Department of Health and the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-230-2777. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-230-2777. That's 800-230-2777 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. 800-230-2777.
ON Radio.
It is Coffee and on ON. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callan here with Dave Richards and Melissa Murray.
Did we hear the Chance spot?
Yes, we did.
Oh, good.
We sure did.
I
All right.
was busy gabbing. Sorry.
All right, good story for you here, and Melissa, you're the animal favorite here. A dog named Lila, all right, is safely back with her owner. She was stuck on the roof of a mall in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Does that happen?
Animal law enforcement officers from the Humane Society of the Pikes Peak region responded to the call at the Citadel Mall on Sunday. Hey, there's a dog up there. Lila was coaxed with water before being muzzled for her safety and secured with a leash. She was lowered to the ground using a stretcher with help from mall security. Officials reunited her with her owner, who said Lila had been missing for 6 days. Final sentence in the paragraph, it's unclear how Lila ended up on the roof. We don't know. Well, obviously someone must have put her there.
Someone must have put her up there. That's terrible.
Isn't it?
A dog doesn't just climb up on a roof unless there's...
And for 6 days.
Yeah.
Gotta be hungry.
And hot.
And thirsty. Yeah. I'm glad they got water.
Good.
All right.
Happy ending there.
So this not as much of a happy ending. A Louisiana family has been fined nearly $2,000. You can't keep a deer as a pet.
No.
In Louisiana. All right. The move is being slammed by State Representative Lauren Ventrella, who fought to expand the state's wildlife rehabilitation laws. She called the fine senseless bureaucracy. All right. The Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries defended the move, saying that wildlife is a natural resource held in public trust for the benefit and enjoyment of the public. So I guess they just, grabbed one out of the wild and said, grabbed it as a baby and said, okay, you're our pet now?
Sometimes they will, you see these stories like, oh, we feed the deer, they come to our back door, and, maybe who knows, right?
Ed Carew feeds the deer.
Yeah.
But he just throws food out for them. He's not really a pet.
You've seen some, you've seen videos. I've seen videos of people feeding the deer when they're babies, and then they'll grow. They'll keep coming back, and then the next year they come back and they have babies and they bring their babies. So
well, that's where the food is. So.
Well, yeah, they know where the food is. So I mean, I guess they can come and nibble on your porch, but you shouldn't.
Can't let them in and sleep.
You don't let them inside. And you can't have an indoor-outdoor deer.
No, you don't want that. All right, as we like to say, it could always be worse somewhere else. Speaking of Louisiana, a former small-town Louisiana police chief under arrest.
Oh boy.
Troy Dufresne is accused of deleting more than a decade's worth of police records after losing re-election in the town. Oh, how about that? If it's true.
Oh boy.
The Attorney General,
not good.
Liz Murrill, says in a statement that it's disappointing when public servants are accused of breaking the law. She says that Dufresne was trying to sabotage his successor. This is like a bad movie.
It is. It is.
Kind of plot kind of thing. So, yikes. And another bad thing. I guess some schools are in session. Yeah, schools are in session in Florida. It's August. So
yeah,
they go back.
Not all of them. They're either in or just about to go back in the session.
Well, a Florida charter school teacher is accused of throwing her shoe at a student.
You can do that in a private school.
Well, it's not a private school; it's a charter school.
That's a private school.
Is it a?
A charter school is not a public school.
It's not a private school, though.
Yeah, that's the problem with the charter schools. Yeah. They're publicly funded private schools, in my opinion. Those are my words. Yeah. But yes, they are, quote, public schools.
I'd
you can't
agree
do
with that.
that.
All right. But here's the story. Authorities say 60-year-old, so we're not talking a new teacher, all right? 60-year-old Sandra...
That wouldn't have made it better.
60-year-old, well, true. Sandra Colombo threw her shoe to get a child's attention. She missed and hit another student.
Well, that's
I hope it wasn't a high heel.
It doesn't say. The incident happened last February. I thought it happened rather recently, but last February when school was in session at the charter school at Waterstone, which is in Homestead, Florida. Anyway, the student that was hit was not badly hurt, but she was fired. She's been teaching for 30 years.
You just
you can't throw your shoe at the student.
Just had her falling down moment, so to speak, right?
1971.
But that's 71, Dave.
Yeah. Mr. Lockature did it in Barrville High School.
You can't do it anymore.
He threw it at the blackboard.
Oh, okay.
And it made
big of a noise.
He was a big dude, so it was a big shoe. And it made a lot of noise.
Okay.
In fact, they heard it outside the classroom. The teacher next door
came in.
They had classrooms where you could open a door between the classrooms. And the teacher next door, who was teaching in the next classroom over, opened the door and stuck his head in. Everything okay in here? But he got everybody's attention. Yeah. And see, I still remember it today.
Okay.
I had teachers throw stuff in middle school. And,
erasers were thrown.
The chalkboard erasers, just clapping it really loudly to get people's attention who are not paying attention.
Or throw it against the wall.
Yeah.
Have it whiz by your head. I had a music teacher, the guy with the baton. He would throw that at people if they weren't paying attention enough or playing the wrong notes.
That could stick in your eye, though. You got to be careful.
But he did it. So, I never saw any shoes being tossed by teachers or by students either. So there you go.
30-year career
teaching
ended.
is done. She probably won't be hired by anybody else.
Well, it wasn't 30 years in a charter school. It was probably 25 years as a public school teacher, and then when she retired from public school, she went to charter school.
Well, now we're just going to retire.
Right.
All right. The company that makes Barbie dolls.
Yes.
Mattel.
It is Mattel.
Yes.
Yeah, they're pulling a Disney.
Is trying to block a copyright request from a Washington, D.C.-based podcaster. Ken Biberi wants to copyright the name of his political podcast, which is called Coffee with Ken. But Mattel has filed a lawsuit. No.
Because no one named Ken can have their own show now.
Trying to block the request, saying their brand could be damaged by the use of the name Ken in its podcast title. So Ken, the man, he's planning to fight the lawsuit, saying the complaint is an overreach since Ken is such a common name.
Yes.
So I don't see where Mattel
Why doesn't he just use
has
his
a
full
leg to
name?
stand on.
Coffee with Kenneth.
Kenneth?
And
It doesn't have the zip.
No,
you know?
this is
Change
just
his
like
name to Ken with a C.
it's just like what Disney does. How much money do you want to give to your lawyer to win this argument?
right. We have
I got
more,
more money
we
than
win.
you got to give to our lawyers to win this argument,
can
and I got
stretch
more
this out.
lawyers than you have, and all the rest of that. Yeah.
So maybe.
There's a station in Chicago, WBBM, that did this all the time. You wanted to put a radio station on anywhere in the country, on the channel that they occupied, and you could get it done because they were only on. They were a big station, but you could only hear them at night elsewhere in the country. And they would go to the FCC and they'd just keep on pouring money into their lawyers to fight you until you ran out of money and didn't do it.
All right. That'll do it for the show for today. Our thanks to Phil Gould, who came in today from Lincoln. And our thanks to Meg Rigo as well. Melissa, thanks for being here as well.
Thank you for having me. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy the beautiful weather.
All right. And Dave, thanks for being here.
See you tonight at 6 o'clock at the River Island Art Park for Consuelo's Revenge and Sweet Lizzie Project.
All right.
Which is better than it sounds.
Stay tuned for Gary Smith of the crew. Do remember, it's coming up after the 9 o'clock news.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street.